Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing okay. Welcome to today's video. So today's video is a highly requested video. Loads of you have asked me to do a video based on routine, but this is going to be a how I got my baby to sleep through the night. So if you're new over here, then my name is Vicky, hello. So I'm mum to 3. I have one stepdaughter who is 10. She was only a baby when we met, so I took her on from 10 months old. So I have a little bit of experience of her as a baby. And then I have 2 sons, a 6-year-old and also a 16-month-old. Yeah, he's 16 months old, I think. Yeah. My 16-month-old is going to be the topic of choice because he is the one I remember in terms of the sleep, because you do quickly forget these things. So I'll kind of tell you a little bit about why I'm doing this video. So my first son, my 6-year-old, did not sleep through the night till he was 3.5, and it broke me. So if any mums are in that position, I feel you. It's so hard. I'm terrible on lack of sleep, and that is the one thing that if I'd have seen a video or YouTube was a thing when my 6-year-old was a baby, I would have been watching every video to get all the tips. So I will also say that I am no expert, and I will also say that every baby is different. So what one baby does might not necessarily mean the other baby does it, but just based on experience from my 2 sons, who are very similar in personality in some ways and very different in other ways. But after having a child that did not sleep, hence the large age gap, I decided that I just could not have that again. So it's been really hard work trying to get Spencer, my youngest, into a routine where he sleeps through the night every night. He started off really well as a young baby, put him into a good routine, and then we had a period of disruption within the house. We had to move out of the house. We were having our house extended, so he had to sleep in lots of different holiday lets as well as a motorhome. So as you can imagine, his sleep was really disturbed, and when we eventually moved back into the family home, it was very difficult to get him back into that. And so I just thought I would share some of the tips that I have learned along the way. So I'm really sorry for that long introduction, but I will go straight into the tips. I have got 5 tips, and I'm going to keep it really simple for you all. So number 1, as I've already touched on, is routine. So routine is something that I was not strict on the first time, and this time round I was adamant I was going to get my baby into a routine. So from around I think he must have been about 9 or 10 weeks old, we started putting him into a routine. Obviously with really young babies, it's hard to instill a really strict regime straight away, but you can definitely start making steps. And the way I started this was from about 9 or 10 weeks, I would put him down at 7 o'clock at night in his cot upstairs with the baby monitor on, rather than downstairs with us. That was the first thing I did to kind of transition me into the routine. And then it was really kind of waking him up for feeds, making sure he's eating at the same time, sleeping at the same time. And then we followed this through into him being a toddler. So although a lot of the time he won't look tired, I knew he needed 2 2-hour naps a day, and then he also needed to sleep through the night. So without that routine, he would get overtired. And it's crazy, but the more overtired he was, the less he would sleep at night, which is madness, because you'd think actually if he slept less in the day, he'd be more tired at night like an adult would be, but that's not the case. So yeah, routine, really important for me. Routine is another video I'm gonna have to do in a separate video because it would be too much to condense into here. But you know your baby best, and just make sure they're getting enough sleep throughout the day, and make sure they are sleeping at set times. And I promise you it works wonders. Number 2 is association. So what I mean by this is he associates in his bed is his You and the Dream sheet. Now I swear by this dream sheet. When I first put it in his cot when he was like 10 weeks old, I was like, oh my gosh, this is just disturbing him. Like the light is distracting him, it's not sending him to sleep. But I persevered, and I just kept every single time he had a nap, every single time he had a sleep, because obviously when they're really little, they're sleeping a lot throughout the day. Every single time he went down for a sleep, and I put him down in his cot. So when we started that routine, every nap he had, he would nap in a cot. I would always put his You and the Dream sheet on and play the song. So now when he goes into his bed and he gets in his sleeping bag and he gets into his bed and he has his dummy and his blanket, blankie, sorry we call it, I pop his You and the Dream sheep on, give him a kiss, and he knows, I've got to go to sleep now. So if you guys have tried it and you're not thinking it's working, honestly just persevere. Like, persevere should be a separate point of mine really, because you just got to keep doing things and keep doing things. I mean, it took the best part of 6 months for him to catch on that actually that You and the Dream sheet meant that he needed to go to sleep. So just keep doing it, and I promise as they get older it will make your life so much easier, because he just knows that that's what it is. And when we were training him to go through the night again, training him, it sounds like a dog. When we were sleep training him, that's what it's called, isn't it, to go through the night, I would turn that on when I went in to soothe him. So for us, it's really, really worked, and we absolutely love our Dream sheep. It might not be a Dream sheep that you've got, it may be that you've got like a little projector or a little music box or something like that, but definitely association with his cot and with the place that they're going to sleep, for me, has been a lifesaver. Number 3 is make sure they've eaten enough. So I know with babies it's really difficult to try and get food into them sometimes if they don't want to eat, but with Spencer, that was one thing, again, along with the routine. I was adamant he was going to have like breakfast, lunch and dinner, and it was really important for him to have those, and also really important for him to have his milk when he was meant to have it. So at the moment he's only on a bottle in the morning, a bottle in the evening, so it's a lot easier. But when he was on like 4 bottles a day, I would try and get as much as I possibly could into him. And with the food, again, just regular meal times, and you know your baby's portion sizes, you know what's going to fill them up, and you know that if you put them to bed and they've had their 3 meals, they've eaten really well, they've drank all their milk, then actually there's no reason why they should need any food in the night, and they can't wait until the morning. So it makes me sound like a bit really, really strict, but honestly, your life will be so much easier if your baby sleeps through the night. And we have so much fun in the day, and we have so many cuddles and kisses, and you know, we have a lovely bedtime story and all of that, so we don't miss out on any nice stuff. But when it comes to sleep, I just cannot function. So it's better for all of us that he sleeps. So I am quite strict with, you know, what he eats and stuff like that. Now, it doesn't mean to say that like if we had a day where he was like picking because he was teething, then obviously things will be very different, but most of the time we try to stick to these little points that I've got. Okay, number 4 and 5 are actually quite like harsh, I think, but again, really key for me. So number 4 is try not to pick them up when they do cry. So sometimes babies just cry because they want to see you, they've maybe had a bad dream. I'm not sure what the age is where they've had a bad dream, so if I feel like the cry I'm hearing is, you know, quite, I know my baby's cries, and I know like a little whimper from a pained cry, from a hungry cry, from you know, and a really upset cry. So if I think he's really upset, I will go in, and he's more than likely stood up, and I will cuddle him and, you know, lie him back down and stroke his face and hold his hand and tell him it's okay, and make sure he's really settled and soothed, and kind of just dropping off, put his music back on, but I will not pick him up unless of course he's beside himself, which is very rare. But if he's in pain or something, obviously I would. But I now do that, so when I leave he might have a very little cry, but he will go straight back to sleep, and then sleep for the rest of the night. So for me, not picking him up once he became of an age to understand what I was saying was really, really important, because we got into a really bad habit in the motorhome when we lived in there of picking him up, because we didn't want him to wake everyone else up because it was such a small space. And so he got into the cycle where he knew that we were going to pick him up when we went in, which is fine at the time because that's what we had to do. But honestly, we were so exhausted, because once we picked him up, he didn't want to go back to sleep. He would be sat in our bed, we'd be like looking at stuff, like we would even sometimes get our phone out, like it was just not happening. So when we moved back into the house, I was like, right, this is it, I've got to break this cycle. You know your babies, obviously if they need picking up, pick them up, but I'm quite good at gauging whether he needs me or whether he just wants to get out of bed. So that's something that I think's really helped. So he knows that, you know, if I don't pick him up, it's not morning and he's got to stay asleep. Okay, so number 5, this is where I'm sure some of you are going to turn off this video, and I did really think about whether I was going to say this or not, and then I thought, no, I'm going to say it because it's what we do. So I don't like the term cry it out. It's more controlled crying, something we don't ever have to do anymore, but we had to do in the period where we've moved back into the family home. We had to do it for about a week. And it was really, really, really hard work, like really hard work. But we did it, and once we'd done it and we'd cracked it, it was great. What that meant was, again, it's kind of the same as the last point. I understand his cries, and I knew he just wanted to get out of bed. He was frustrated. He was almost screaming at me, get me out of my cot. Why aren't you getting me up? I want to get up. And this would be like 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. Or in the middle of the night. And I think the first night we did it, as I explained a minute ago, it was an hour and a half of, honestly, he was screaming. But what I did is I sat outside his room, and I would, every like 5 to 10 minutes, I would say, maybe 10 minutes, I can't remember, I should have written this down. I would go in and cuddle him. I wouldn't pick him up, but I would just cuddle him, say, it's okay, mummy's here. Please don't cry, like, you're okay, you can go to sleep. And then I'd stroke his face, and then I'd put his dummy in, and I'd walk back out again. So he knew I was outside the room. He knew I was there, I wasn't leaving him. I was cuddling him, telling him I loved him. So it wasn't just cold turkey, like, I'm gonna leave you there. And we just persevered. I think the next night was about 40 minutes, and then it gradually got less and less. And now it just doesn't happen. Like, I can honestly say for, like, we moved back home, must be sort of the end of August now. Well, he basically sleeps through the night. Well, no, he does sleep through the night. Some of you might think that's really harsh, and no one has to parent like me. And I'm not saying my way is the right way and your way is the wrong way. Absolutely not. Everyone can do it however they want to survive. These are just my little ways that I've done that have got us some sleep. And for us as a family, that's really important, because it means that I can be mum to the other two without snapping at them and being really tired. It means I can keep making videos for you guys, and it means that we can just try and survive this lockdown if we get sleep. So yeah, that's it really. So we've come to the end of the video. I hope that wasn't too long-winded. I hope you found it interesting. Next video, loads of you have asked for Spencer's routine. I am doing it. You're gonna think this is crazy, but we're having our carpets fitted this week, and I wanted to wait until they were down, just so, I don't know, I just feel like it looks nicer than plywood everywhere. I know you guys don't really care about that, but that's the reason why. I just wanted to wait until we had that down and it felt a little bit more like home. So thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for continuing to support me, and I hope you're all doing okay during this lockdown, and I should see you all very, very soon.